Hi everyone, Mask Gardener here. I just wanted to give y'all a little update on the greenhouse and show you what you can do over the winter in Zone 7A. So I've shown you guys a little bit from that door over there, but I wanted to be standing inside and show you what all I've got. So I showed you all last time that I have several citrus. So that one there over in the corner is a limequat tree, and at the very end I'll show you it's got a couple of fruit on it already. This one's another limequat tree, and this one's a bit older. I bought it because it is older, and it's got a more woody stem. It's going to be more hardy. So in the spring, that one's actually going to be the one that goes outside, and I'm going to try to see if I can winterize it outside. Again, that's a limequat tree, so it's a mix between a kumquat and a key lime, so that it's a little more hardy than a regular lime. This one's my Meyer lemon, and I've already gotten 2 lemons off of it, and you can see this one's on its way. If it was a normal lemon, that would be a good color, but this is a Meyer lemon, which is crossed with an orange, and my dogs are outside. So this one is very, very close. You can see that it's starting to get that good orange color. So even though the plant is very small, it's actually produced quite a bit, and I'm hoping that it's going to grow up some more soon. So this is just some ties that I have in there made out of different types of wire that I get for cheap at the store. This here is my winterized dragon cayenne, and so you can see how the stem comes up here. And it came out into this Y, and I took the branches and I cut them short, and I took most of the leaves off. You can see there's a few leaves on here that are dying off. And so it was in here, and I have it in this fabric pot. It grew since last spring in that fabric pot. It popped out from seed of a plant that I grew year before last, and one of the peppers fell, and this grew up in my garden pathway in the mulch, and so I dug it up and stuck it in this pot, and it's done absolutely amazingly. It produced so much. So I tried to winterize it, cut off those ends, took off most of the leaves except for like 4 or 5, and then you can see in the last month it started to put on a ton more growth, so it's going to come back and fruit even sooner for me in the spring. So it's doing just amazingly. Before we go over, I'm going to come up. So this one here is a passion fruit. It is the tropical variety, not the maypop. Maypop is actually like indigenous to this area, so we're going to have maypops as well, but we're going to try that one for tropical because I've heard the tropical have a stronger flavor. So this here is a tea plant, Camilla, and so this one I'm going to keep in a pot, and I'm going to keep potting it up. It was tiny when I got it last spring, but it's done absolutely amazingly. You can see the flowers are dying back on it, but it has grown so much, and it's actually got some bottom growth down here that I'm excited about. So that one I'm going to keep in a pot. I'm going to actually hop over here for a second, and you can see that these are also different cuttings that were rooted. The cuttings were sent to me, and I've been rooting them, and they haven't done the best, but they haven't died either, so we're gonna see what happens with those. I want to make a hedgerow in the front of my yard. I took out all the bushes in the front, and that's actually going to be my normal bushes now. So that's what's happening with those. They're gonna go in the ground, and they're gonna look like normal bushes that people have in front of their yard, except I'm gonna use them for tea. So coming back over here, this is a variegated kumquat. I almost said limequat. And let's see, it hasn't done very much since I got it. Let's see if we look at this tag here. Centennial variegated. So it hasn't done like anything. It hasn't grown. It hasn't looked worse. It's just stayed exactly the same since I bought it several months back. So I'm gonna be interested to see if it does anything over the summer. Over here, I need to pull some weeds out. This came to me as a tiny, like 2 or 3 inch cutting of a Barbados cherry. And I stuck it into that pot to see what it would do. That's not a very big pot. That's like maybe 2 gallons. I need to pot it up. The problem is I have a lot of citrus in this greenhouse that isn't going to be in here next year. So right now I don't have room for a bigger pot. But he's going to get potted up. And I hope he's going to fruit this year. That would be exciting. Behind it there is a plant that I use all the time. This is a bay laurel. I absolutely love throwing bay into all of my food. I stick it in everything. I love it. And then my dog's back there. Hi, Jack. Anytime that I'm in the greenhouse, Jack tries to get in and cuddle. He loves to cuddle. So this over here is another bay laurel. I had it a lot longer and it does not like the pot that it's in. It sits in too much water, so I need to repot that in the spring. This one here is my Persian lime. He has had a very rough go. You can see this stick. I feel very bad for this. Limes have not done very well for me, which is one reason why I went with the lime quattro. So here is my pink Eureka variegated lemon. Very excited for it. It's done really great. I also gave one to my mother, and hers is inside, and I have a very bad track record with citrus inside, so I hope hers is going to do all right. This one has loved the greenhouse, but it's very humid in here, partially because the dryer vent actually blows into the greenhouse, and so it helps it stay real humid and everything in here. Everyone told me that was a bad idea and that it would cause problems, but so far everything that I grow in here loves humidity, and they've absolutely loved having all the hot, humid air. This one's my Owari Satsuma. I'm trying to train it up because several things were weak in here. I thought I heard a knock, but I think that it was just acorns hitting on the tree. So it's coming in pretty nicely. It didn't have any growth for like so long. Actually, I have pictures of it on my Instagram that you can try to look up, and it took forever. And then all of a sudden, so you can see right here, this was as tall as it got, and it has this little like side branch here that's real small, and that was the top of the tree. And then this came out of nowhere. This came out in like 2 or 3 weeks. It just spat up and just came out of nowhere. And so this branch here, these were so weak and floppy. It was bad. It was growing way too fast. So you can see right here, that was the end of a branch, and it just spit this thing out in just a few weeks. And so I tried to keep it with these metal ties to like teach it to stand up, because it was just flopped over. It was really bad. Over here, this is a failed ghost pepper. It did this weird thing where it just goes straight up. It kept losing all of its leaves, and then at the top it branched out like this, and I was just letting it grow. It's in a pretty good size pot. I was just letting it grow, and it did this, and it gets full sun there. Everything else loved it there. I don't know what its problem was. It hated it. And then split up there, and I didn't get one ghost pepper, but maybe it'll make it to spring. Some black-eyed Susans. I grew some from seed last year. We'll talk about this in a second. It's a mushroom plant, a mushroom herb. I have another one that's a lot better looking than that. Over there are 3 ghost peppers. Let's see if I can get this. I braided the stems up, and I'm wanting them to sort of become like a bonsai type thing, except for ghost peppers. So that'll be cool. This is if I can get over here, a prickly pear. And it hasn't grown very much, but it was a very bad color and it looked very sad when I got it, and it looks a lot better. It's got a ton of weeds in there. I don't know why. It never went outside. It was always in this nice dirt, so I think that dirt that I got had a lot of seeds in it. Forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, that's taro. It makes a tuber like similar to a potato, but it's a lot sweeter. My dogs love to play with the side yard with the other dogs. Sorry about that. That's a fig cutting that's behind that. So this here is another mushroom herb. They just absolutely love soaking up water. I've got a lot of stuff in here that I just wanted to see if it took off in here or not over the winter. I need to pull them all out and start my seeds here in a couple of weeks. So you guys will see that. That is a failed cutting of a kumquat right there. It did well for a long time, and then it just didn't like being in the water. I'm gonna have some different... Yeah, you're gonna see I'm gonna have a whole bunch of different different herbs I plant in there. And some I tried them in the fall, and then they grew so slow over that time period that I had to give up. And the ones that grew, I just left them in here. So we'll see what happens. This is some feverfew that I ordered offline, and they took forever to get to me. Same with these other things. By the time they got to me, it was way too late to plant them outside. These are some cuttings that I took over the summer on my plants, and I didn't grow them, or they didn't grow for the longest time. I have them sitting here, and I just left them. I didn't touch them. And I mean, you can see on this Satsuma, it says like nothing growing. I left these little half things. You can see over here with this Meyer lemon, there's like a little nub, but it's not doing anything. And then I get really excited because this is my lime. Let me show you my Persian lime. See if it'll oh, come on, focus for me. Let's see if I do it like this. Can you all see? Let me try and put my hand behind it. See this growth? Ah, I'm so excited about this growth on this little cutting. It's got all these. I'm so excited for it. So we're gonna see if that takes off, and I'm gonna be doing that also over the summer with the citrus that I put outside, because that one's gonna be, if they die, they die. So I want to have cuttings to be able to keep them alive. So I took some leaves of the tea plant to see if I could get them to root, and I haven't checked on them in a long time actually. Let's see if I tug. Oh. So we'll see if anything comes of all that. They've taken forever, but I've heard that it can take a couple years. So some of the things in this greenhouse are just going to be stick it in there and see how it does. You can see this is a one of the little babies that came off of the strawberries. There's some Barbados cherries I just stuck in there. You can see this is pretty wet. It really isn't a good idea to keep it this wet. So this is all just fun experiment, see what happens. Over here, I showed you guys this stuff before. Back there is my Tabasco pepper, and I just left some stuff on there. It should bust out again in the spring like the other one did. At least I hope so. I don't like the look of this branch. Ooh, I hope it does. We'll find out. We'll find out if it does. I've got some. Oh, look here. I got some leaf growth over here. So possibly I need to take off this dead branch over here. I need to take off that dead branch. So there's some more strawberries. I have a little strawberry bed on the side of the yard though. Elderberry. This one's a pomegranate. This is a failed lavender. I need to get rid of at some point. A black mulberry. Up here are some successful lavenders attempts. This is another Barbados cherry that I tried to bonsai. It did not do great in the winter. It did great all year until like late December. And then it's still got a live little leaf up here. I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope this guy's gonna come back. We'll see. I've heard that they can lose their leaves and then come back again. This is a blackberry, an Apache blackberry. And this one is I had to look it up again what kind of raspberry it is. I bought those real early because I was scared that we were going to run out this year after what happened last year with the craziness. And so yeah, I went ahead and bought a lot of stuff early. And you're going to see a lot more blackberries here in a second because I got worried. This is my jalapeno again. I need to harvest the jalapenos off of it. It's starting to look sad, but I've left it to grow all year. So it makes sense that it's gonna lose its leaves and have to replenish them. So we'll see how that goes. That one right there is a Carolina Reaper. I saved it for $1, and it's actually doing so much better than it was, because it was like on its last legs. It was dying. This is my Miho Satsuma. It's supposed to fruit very, very early so that I can collect it in October before we get a freeze here. Let's see. Here's a triple crown blackberry that's going to go in the area, the blackberry row on the side of the house. That's going to be a project that you're going to see this year. I'm doing an entire row of 2 plants each are a different variety of blackberry that no longer has an active patent. Their patent has expired. So you can take cuttings and sell them if you want, because it's not patented anymore. And there's a second one over there. You can see that it's coming back. It's leafing out. So it might be a couple of years, but we're going to review all the different kinds that we put in and see what they taste like. This one here is a hardy, prolific kiwi. It's supposed to be good to zone 6, and it's also supposed to be self-pollinating, so I don't need another, I don't need the male-female the way most zucchini are. We're gonna see how that goes. I've not heard a lot about it. It's starting to leaf out, you see here. From what I've seen about hardy kiwis, they're really tiny. They're like the size of grapes. So we'll see how well that works out for everything. This one here is a Russian pomegranate. It's very normal for them to look dead in the winter. I accidentally snapped off a little branch earlier and it was green inside, so it's still doing well. It's just, it goes to sleep like a lot of trees that have, that are deciduous and lose their leaves. So I've got several of those in different places. Exception be that apparently this one just never went dormant. It's just chilling. That is a dwarf pomegranate, and so it's just chilling out. This here is a leek. I have no idea what variety. I cut the very bottom base off of a leek that I was eating and stuck it in water, and it grew roots, and then I stuck it in dirt. So we're gonna see what happens. I planted it all the way down here, and I just put this much dirt with it. Okay? There's a water basin at the bottom. There's only like this much dirt below the roots. And then I filled in. And so from here, roughly about here, coming all the way up to here, is just dirt. So that should all be white stock. So, hoping that works out pretty well. And then I think that's about it for the greenhouse. I just wanted to give you all a more detailed tour of what we got going on. But for an idea of the project of what's going to go outside, so this limequat is going to go outside in Zone 7A. It's officially not supposed to be able to make it here, but we're going to see if we can make it work with winterizing. There's a decent chance it might still die, so that's one reason why we've got that one over there, the one that's fruiting and flowering. We're going to put them in a much better pot in the spring. And the one that's big and has a more woody stem is the one we're going to put outside, because I'm hoping the stem's going to be more hardy, be able to take it a little better. And this Miho Satsuma is going to go outside because it can fruit a little better, and while the leaves and the plant can handle a freeze much better, the fruit shouldn't be frozen. So I got it because it's going to be an earlier fruiting variety, whereas this Satsuma is, I think it's a medium fruiting variety. It's an Owari, so it's very, very common. So, and you can see how new and fresh these leaves look compared to the old leaves. And so it's going to stay in a pot. It's going to stay in that one for a couple years at least, and then we'll review where that goes from there. So these two here are going to go outside, in a Miwa kumquat, which is not going to arrive here until late March, is also going to go in. And we're not going to plant anything until we're snugly into May, possibly early June. and that's going to go in the side yard. So I appreciate you guys coming, and thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the tour. See ya.